"Speedkiller," growled Rusty, replied his driver. Rusty knew this, but he itched to go quicker. His train that morning was a flat truck with a large tank on it. A pipe hung across the line behind the truck's buffers, and when the man in charge turned a tap, liquid sprayed onto the track through holes in the pipe. The weed-killing train was used once a year, but that was once too often for Rusty. He had hoped that Fred, the other Diesel, would pull the train today, but Fred was ill, muttered Rusty darkly to himself. It was a holiday weekend. The Thing Controller had expected plenty of visitors, but even he was surprised at the number who came. It was Renee's turn to take the first train, and he happily pulled the empty coaches to the station. So many people were on the platform that Renee could hardly see it. "He puffed?" asked the Thing Controller. The time spent fetching the carriage made Renee's late. He hated being late, but he knew that today it wasn't his fault. He panted, trying to make up for lost time. They did well until they reached the middle station, where they had to stop. Rusty and his weed-killing train were waiting in the loop for them, called Renee as the engines passed each other. Beyond the middle station, the line rises steeply for a short way so that it can cross a stream. The engines like to be able to get a run at this hill, especially when they have a heavy train. Today, Renee had to pass, very carefully, some hedge cutters working at the foot of the hill. This meant that he couldn't get a proper run at it. He struggled hard, but soon his wheels began to slip. Halfway up, he slithered to a halt. He complained. The fireman got down. "He said Renee, comforted his driver. The guard told the passengers what was planned, and Renee gently backed his train to where the hedge cutters were working. Then they paused so that Renee could gather his breath. He whistled bravely. As they moved forward, the fireman turned on the sandpipes. Renee snorted. Slowly, very slowly, Renee reached the stream and crossed it. Renee panted as the coaches crept after him across the bridge. Said his driver. They did their best, but the passengers had only a while to admire the lake at the top station. They didn't mind. They said they had enjoyed the brave way in which Renee had got them up the hill.